Hello and welcome to your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 6th of June, 2015. The moon today is in the early stages of the sign of Aquarius. It's the 5th lunar day of the dark half of the moon, also called Krishna Panchami. We'll touch on that a little more in a moment, but the reason I wanted to bring that to the surface first in our discussion is once the moon gets past the 5th day of its waning period, it begins to lose its strength and luster because it's no longer able to reflect the light of the sun as brightly because the moon is waning. Right? In the symbolism of astrology, the sun is representative of the soul, or the individual soul, I should say, and the moon is the individual consciousness. So when the moon is weakening, the capacity of the moon to reflect the light of the sun, or the light of the soul, thereby begins to wane. So we're right at the very edge of that process. The moon today is in the nakshatra of Sravana, which is also ruled by the moon. And with Sravana, it's about the interconnectedness of all things, how things fit together. Sravana is also symbolized by an ear. And the concept here is that we learn how to tune in to our environment and indeed to the universe with full sensory awareness. So we learn to listen with more than just our ears, see with more than just our eyes, and we use our senses to their full capacity so that we're really able to understand how things begin to mesh together. The moon has a decent amount of strength today, so there's the potential for that process to be functioning rather well. And in connection with that, there are bits and pieces of information which you are becoming privy to. But the one thing that needs to be guarded against is a desire to wrest and wrangle the remaining bits of information from the cosmos rather than allowing it to come to you one piece at a time. Sometimes if we try to force a sometimes if we try to force a process, we can actually get the little bits and pieces of information all wrong. We think that A equals C when really A equals B. So it's better to take a close look at things, allow things to happen and develop over time rather than trying to force and push for them to. With the moon being on the 5th lunar day or 5th lunar tithi, which is called Krishna Panchami, it's the 5th day of the dark half of the moon, as I was saying before, then there is the desire to really penetrate through to the core of something. You're beginning to get bits and pieces of information, as I was saying, and there's a greater desire to have it all fall into place. And the reason I'm saying that this needs to be guarded against is the solar lunar yoga for today, which is responsible for how things can come together if one is going to attain success. But if the solar lunar yoga is a little bit out of balance due to the planets connected with it, then things have more of a capacity to fall apart. And the solar lunar yoga for today is actually Indra, which means belonging to Indra. In Vedic mythology, Indra was the king of the gods. And there are several instances in Vedic mythology where Indra falls from heaven because of misbehavior. And in all the stories related to Indra, he had very strong power and performed severe penance in order to obtain special powers and special strength. That's one of the reasons he obtained something called the Sudarshana chakra, which you often see spinning on his finger. And that's used to cut through illusion. But sometimes that severe, austere approach to a particular situation can cause more problems than it does help. And those were many of the reasons that Indra had periods where he, quote unquote, fell from grace. He was the king of the gods, but there were periods where he was forced to come back to earth and reincarnate. And the ruler that's connected with the solar lunar yoga, Indra, is the north node of the moon, also called Rahu. And because of associations with Rahu and planets that are connected to it, there's a very powerful desire nature building with the day. But the process is saying that if you take your time, allow the pieces to all fall into place as they need to, rather than trying to make them happen more quickly than they should, then you're going to get better information. And Sravana is an Artha Nakshatra, which means it has a directed activity at its goal, at its heart. So there's some sort of goal that you're trying to achieve, and the pieces are falling into place, but they're not quite there and they're not quite perfect yet. So the things to do: listen with more than just your ears, tune in with more than just your eyes. And so what do I mean by that? Use your intuition. Listen. Pay attention to what's going on in your life. Allow yourself to be receptive to what's coming to you, rather than thinking that you have the full picture. And once you do that, then the picture will just naturally form all of its own accord. Now, this could be taking place in any area of your life, and in order to find that out, what that might relate to for you particularly, then I would need to take a look at your personal birth chart. And I do offer that service. If you have anything going on in your life that you're looking for information on, please feel free to sign up for one of my astrological services. And there's a link further down in this YouTube video, unless you've closed it down already. And if you have, well, there's one further down in the description area as well. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. That way you get regular updates every time a new video is released. That's going to do it for your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 6th of June, 2015. Until tomorrow, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.